In this session, we go deeper into how the QNX hypervisor actually works inside a real vehicle system. Earlier, we understood why hypervisors are needed. Now we will understand how it controls the entire system. At a high level, we say a hypervisor runs multiple operating systems, but internally, it is doing something much more powerful. It is deciding who gets CPU time, how memory is divided, which system can access which hardware device, and how events are handled. In simple terms, it behaves like a strict traffic controller, making sure every system runs smoothly, without interfering with others. The most important idea to understand is this: nothing runs directly on hardware anymore. The hypervisor sits in between and becomes the only authority controlling access. Every operating system must go through the hypervisor to use CPU, memory, or devices. This is what gives us strong isolation and safety. Just to make the boundary clear again, the QNX Neutrino RTOS, or Android Automotive, are operating systems that run applications. But the hypervisor does not run applications. It runs these operating systems and controls how they use the hardware. So the hypervisor is like the platform, and the operating systems are like guests running on it. When the system powers on, the hypervisor is the first major software to start. It immediately takes control of the entire hardware, including CPU cores, memory, and devices. From that moment, no operating system gets direct access to hardware. Instead, everything is controlled and distributed by the hypervisor. This is the foundation of the architecture. Before we go into each component in detail, let us first build a clear, big picture of how the QNX hypervisor is structured. At the very bottom, we have the physical hardware, which includes CPU cores, memory, GPU, storage, and vehicle interfaces like CAN and Ethernet. On top of this hardware, the hypervisor sits as the first layer of control. It takes full ownership of all these resources and decides how they are divided and used. Above the hypervisor, we have multiple virtual machines. Each virtual machine is like an isolated environment with its own allocated CPU, memory, and devices. Inside each virtual machine, a guest operating system runs. This could be Android Automotive for infotainment or QNX OS for safety-critical functions like the instrument cluster. Now, inside the hypervisor itself, there are key functional components working together. There is a CPU manager, which controls how cores are assigned and scheduled. There is a memory manager, which ensures strict isolation between systems. There is a device manager, which handles ownership and sharing of hardware devices. And there is an interrupt controller, which routes events to the correct system. All of these components work together continuously to ensure that every system runs independently, predictably, and safely. So when you look at the architecture as a whole, it is not just layers stacked on top of each other. It is a tightly controlled system where the hypervisor acts as the central authority managing everything. Now that we have this overall view, we will go step by step and break down each of these components to understand exactly how they work internally. Let us understand CPU partitioning with a simple example. Imagine the system has 4 CPU cores. The hypervisor can assign 2 cores exclusively to a safety-critical system running QNX, and the other 2 cores to Android Automotive for infotainment. Now, even if Android is running heavy applications like maps or video playback, it cannot consume the CPU cores assigned to QNX. This guarantees that safety systems always get the processing power they need. Memory is divided in a similar way. Think of memory like separate rooms. Each virtual machine gets its own room and cannot enter another room. This separation is enforced using hardware support like the Memory Management Unit, called MMU. So even if Android crashes or behaves incorrectly, it cannot corrupt the memory used by QNX. This is critical for safety. Now let us look at devices. In a real car, the instrument cluster display may be controlled by a QNX system, while the infotainment display runs on Android.
The hypervisor decides which system gets access to which display controller. Some devices, like CAN interfaces used for safety signals, are strictly assigned to QNX. Other devices, like audio or display, may be shared in a controlled way. The hypervisor ensures there is no conflict. Once CPU, memory, and devices are divided, the hypervisor creates virtual machines. Each virtual machine behaves like a separate computer. Inside one virtual machine, QNX OS runs the instrument cluster. Inside another virtual machine, Android Automotive runs infotainment. Both systems run in parallel, on the same hardware, but remain completely isolated from each other.
When a hardware event happens, like a button press or a sensor update, the interrupt first goes to the hypervisor. The hypervisor then forwards that event to the correct virtual machine. For example, a steering wheel button for volume goes to Android, while a speed sensor update goes to QNX. This ensures correct system behavior. The hypervisor also decides when each system runs. Safety systems, like QNX, are given guaranteed time slots, so they always execute on time. Android systems are given flexible scheduling, allowing smooth user experience without affecting safety. This balance is very important in automotive systems. The QNX hypervisor follows a microkernel-based approach, meaning only essential functions run in the most critical layer. This reduces complexity and improves reliability. It also makes it easier to certify the system for safety standards, which is mandatory in automotive. Let us walk through a real example. When the car starts, the hypervisor boots first. It creates two virtual machines. In one virtual machine, QNX OS starts and controls the instrument cluster, showing speed, warnings, and critical alerts. In another virtual machine, Android Automotive starts and runs the infotainment system, handling music, navigation, and apps. While driving, if Android crashes due to an app issue, the instrument cluster continues running without any impact. The driver still sees speed and warnings correctly. This is the power of hypervisor-based isolation. Even with this architecture, challenges exist. If resources are not properly allocated, systems may compete for CPU or memory. Sharing complex hardware like GPU is difficult and needs careful handling. Scheduling must be tuned correctly to avoid delays. These are engineering challenges that need careful design. This architecture allows multiple systems to run on a single hardware platform, reducing cost and complexity. It enables faster updates, better performance, and strong safety guarantees. This is why hypervisors are becoming standard in modern vehicles. As vehicles move towards software-defined architectures, hypervisors will become the foundation of centralized computing. Platforms like SOFI will further integrate cloud and automotive systems, making development faster and more flexible. The QNX hypervisor controls everything between hardware and operating systems. It divides CPU, memory, and devices, creates isolated virtual machines, and ensures safe and predictable execution. This allows systems like QNX and Android Automotive to run together on the same hardware without interfering with each other.